So it's a recorded session, so we can come back, and if you want to look at it, view it, you can. So,
all right, the recording has started. Okay.
Okay, great. So we thought it'll be great to take a screen capture of everybody together. And we learned a new emoji yesterday, courtesy of Vatsal Bhatt. So I may have everybody do this together on the screen, and we'll take a photo together.
With the left hand or right hand?
And that doesn't matter. Whichever. I think if you can do this also, so we can get a photo.
Yeah, college में सीखा था, right?
Okay, awesome, great. Thank you.
Don't get me in trouble.
my screen is reversed.
So this is good. So we're off to a good start. At least we all.
Can we do it one more time, please? I want to take another one.
Another one? Okay.
All right.
We lost Samir.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
Well, thank you everybody for making this event. So it's basically just with everybody. This is nostalgia event, as the name suggests. It's an event where we thought maybe we start off with the 60s and 70s batch where we were not there. Some of us were not even born at the time, and so it's an opportunity for us to know what the campus was. How did you guys do things at the time, and just get a sneak preview of the campus from your lens. So we plan on having these events, nostalgia events today it's for 60s and 70s. We'll have another one for 80s, then we'll have another one for 90s, and so on. So just to get a perspective of the campus during that decade. So that's what nostalgia event is. Just thought sharing with everybody. And so we thought the way we want to run with this event today is go through a quick 1-minute introduction of everybody, and then we'll focus on the people from the 60s batch and do some deeper introductions where you can take us through your journey from CEPT to US and to where you are today. And then we'll get into the 70s batch, and we'll mix it with a few things that we have put in the agenda, and then we'll end with a social hour. So I thought I'd give you a quick brief overview of how we plan on moving this event today. So if I can start off with the introductions, a quick introduction, or maybe we can go through the screen. Maybe Neha, if you want to go, you can we'll follow the screen.
Sure, just to let you know that everybody will have different people on the screen sequence. So it's not the same for everybody. So for the screen,
Sharad, it would be better that you just take out the name. Yeah. Thank you, Sharad.
So Neha, why don't you start? I'll go second.
Sure. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Neha Soni. I'm from 2004 batch, Faculty of Architecture, Urban Design. And right now I'm an associate planner working with Planning Commission in Illinois. And I look forward to a great event today. Thank you.
All right.
So Neha, where in Illinois?
I'm in Springfield, a little bit south of Chicago City.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thanks, Neha. So I am Shah. Most people know me by Ganju by my last name. And so I'm from 95 batch, SBST, Faculty of Technology. I'm in Los Angeles, and I practice land development in LA area. So that's me. I have Ekta on the screen right next to me. So Ekta, if you don't mind going next.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Ekta Parekh. I was in 93 School of Architecture batch, and right now I have changed my field and I'm a financial architect now. So it's architecture in a different way in the financial world, and I work with Mass Mutual. That's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Habib, you're right next on my screen. If you don't mind going next.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Habib Hussain. I'm a School of Architecture 1973 batch graduate. I work in San Diego, and I'm in the airport design and planning area. I do program management for the airports.
I know that. Thank you. Sureshbhai, you're next.
I am 72 batch architecture, sorry, 65 architecture, 72 planning, and I do nothing. I just enjoy the life.
Good.
And this is in London, Sureshbhai, or whereabouts?
I live outside Cambridge in a small village. We have only 15 houses, and so COVID-19 doesn't affect me.
That's great. Well, thank you. So I think Deepak, you're up next on my screen.
Okay. I came here in 1985. I worked in Kenya before for Travinsky Gall and Associates. We worked on hotel planning jobs. Travinsky Gall and Associates, they were quite reputed architects in Mombasa. And it was interesting working on the seaside hotels. Yeah, some of you may have seen Mr. Travinsky in, he had a small role in a movie called Out of Africa. His wife was a co-director of the movie Out of Africa, and he got a small role. And then there was, economy was down and there was a coup in Kenya, and was planning to go to Sri Lanka. My in-laws are from there. And then there was trouble in Sri Lanka, and so we decided to come to USA. So I worked for in Dallas City Rapid Transit, and my private, when I joined some private consulting firm, we worked on the Texas high-speed rail. It was a very interesting project. But as usual, some politics comes in and the project, comes and goes. And then I joined the different city. I got into GIS, Geographic Information System. And then I worked for 2 cities. Single-handed, I prepared all the GIS system. I'm talking of 1970, 2000, 2003, 2003 and so. And after 2010, after I decided to go to India to build some small, get in construction business, build a small hospital, and then after, of course, Modi's demonetization came in, and so I'm back here and decided what to do next. So I applied for a city planning job, and I'm working for a city now.
Good. So Deepak, are we going to have more opportunity later on for 70s and 60s to talk about? Sure.
Yes.
So Deepak, where do you live now? If you can just say that, and then we'll come back.
I live in Arlington, this Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texas.
Yeah.
For last 35 years.
Yeah, so thank you, Deepak. We're going to have more opportunity to talk just a little bit more to talk about your nostalgia. So we just went to the introductions now. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, thank you. So you're next on my screen.
Okay, yeah, so as you can see, I'm from the 1977 batch, of which I don't see anyone over here. There are a couple in America, and I've been in touch with them off and on. But I don't see them here. I do know Deepakbhai Mulji, and I know Habib Hussain from back in the CEPT days. So yeah, I'm from the 1977 batch. I graduated in 1983. And then right away, I came here to Penn State to do an academic master's degree, Master of Science in Architecture. So I couldn't get through to any other school. I applied to 4 different schools for masters, and the only one that accepted me was Penn State. So that was a foot in the door to the United States, and I just wanted to explore the master's course over here. We didn't have master's courses in India at the time. So I came here with the intention to finish my studies and go back to India and join my father, who had a construction business. We were going to do a design build together, but my father recommended that I stay on over here because it was very hard to do business in India. He managed a successful business, a small company, but with lots of struggles. So he said, you're better off doing your stuff over there and be your own guy. So I stayed on, and I'll talk to you about my journey later on when you give me a chance. So
great, thank you.
Okay. Great.
Kirit Bhai, you're next on the screen.
Yeah, I think, thank you guys for organizing this for all the guys. Some of them are retired, some of them partly retired, but it is very nice to see all of you again. We saw them in September, and I see some more people, and then particularly from 60s and 70s, and it's wonderful feelings. I think most of them was, if those who were at in the last event, I kind of did a lot of babble out a lot of stuff that I did, but those who were not there, I came, graduated 69, worked for Doshi for a short time, and then came over here to Carnegie Mellon and did my master's there with emphasis in planning and transportation planning. And then I kind of went to work in Baltimore, the Inner Harbor developments, and I wanted to be in a planning and all that stuff. But then kind of got a sort of bugging me that I wanted to go back and do something for the motherland. So I went back in 75, and then Indira Gandhi kind of didn't like that idea, so she put emergency, and kind of spent 2 years, had a fun time, and then went back to, came back over here to USA, and it's been 40 years in New York, more than 40 years actually, 40 years in my town, so it's about 45 years. And then work with at different architectural firms, and the significant was at IMP's office, and work with very interesting projects. And when I was worked with Parkinsonville, they were doing the hospital, so I kind of did a lot of different things into it. And then worked for last, before I retired in 2012, worked with Port Authority, did a lot of planning, and had a kind of fun things to do, the airports and ferry terminals, and all kind of, and the bus terminals, and all kind of fun things to do it. So, and now I'm kind of retired, and having fun with the grandchildren, and get myself involved into, I'm on a local planning board, on a historic preservation board, and keep myself out of trouble with my wife. So, but I think we will talk more about it with other people.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Yeah, and Avani, you're next, right next to Kirit Bhai on my screen, if you don't mind going next.
Okay, so I say that my name's Avni, of course, and I have to thank Vatsal for reminding me, and for Kirit Bhai for constantly nudging one to come to the events, and Suresh Bhai from London also nudging one to participate with CEPT and organizing these events. But the reason why I have 72, 73 is I was a transfer student. I started off my architecture at JJ in Bombay, and in 73, after 2 years at JJ, JJ was undergoing a lot of turmoil at the time. They wanted to be part of the university. It was the old Beaux-Arts system. So I wanted to transfer to Ahmedabad, and I repeated a year. I joined the 72 batch in 1973. So I think I have the longest stretch of the number of years before I graduated. I graduated in 78, I think, 1978. I got married in 1980, which is when I joined my husband here in California. He was a student at Stanford, and I applied to Berkeley for a master's in city planning. So that's what I've been doing. And then we moved to New York in '92, and I've been working here. I've been actually composing a life, I would say. I don't know if I can say I've been doing architecture all my life. You know, I've taught a bit, I've written a book, I've been a mother, I've been a caregiver, I've been all sorts of things. So, well,
wonderful.
But it's been a nice life. And I would have to say I'm also semi-retired like Suresh Bhai. I hope it won't remain like that, but right now it feels like you're semi-retired.
Well, thanks for sharing. We'll come back to all of you to tell us a little bit more about your journey here. And so thanks for sharing that. So Jinraj Bhai, you're next. If you don't mind just giving a quick introduction, we'll come back to everybody.
Yeah, sure. I'm from 1966 batch, and we are coming to nostalgia later on, right? So I live in Puerto Rico with my wife, and I'm a general manager of a company that manufactures LCD screen for smartphones. I have lived in Japan, Nigeria, Boston, and we have moved here. And everybody, I'm not even tired. Forget about being retired.
It's probably Puerto Rico. That is why you are not being tired.
Yeah, so there is one thing which Avni said in the beginning was that I got a little bit of kick in May of this year. It started in January of 2020 when BBC sent me 2 emails. First time I just ignored them. Then they called me and I was featured in a BBC interview, and about 17 international media, French, Italian, German. Recently, Arts at MIT also covered me so after Nigeria, I went to MIT and did my master's degree. But at that time, my wife had already completed master's in Harvard, and she got a full fellowship to do PhD. So she paid my fees to go to MIT. So I used to joke that I got a scholarship from Harvard to study at MIT. That is how life is. I'm done.
Quite a story. Thank you. Parth, you're next, buddy. Bhavsar.
Parth Bhavsar from 98 batch. I did my PhD from Clemson University, and now I'm teaching and doing research in intelligent transportation system. I'm at Kenosha State University, Georgia.
Thank you. So, by the way, Parth was from Faculty of Technology.
Yes. Yes.
I think Bina, you're up next on the screen, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Bina Parikh, and I studied architecture in 1979 batch. After marriage, I came to New York in 1986 and joined Board of Education of New York City and worked there for several years. And after that, I joined as an architect to New York City Transit Authority. And still I'm working there as a code compliance officer. In between this time, I also started my small practice. It was like a small residential and small scale commercial buildings. And that keeps me busy. But it is good to see you, everybody. And we'll talk about it later on, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
By the way, I live in New York City, you know, because you're mentioning where you live. So yes. I'm in Queens, New York City. Thank you.
Great. Hasmukhbhai, you're next.
Okay, I'm Hasmukh Patel. I am from School of Architecture, 1964 batch. Graduated in 1970, and I started working with Mewada, the town planning for Gandhinagar. I was in the office there. There was no building except the roads only. And then once I was visiting the School of Architecture, Doshi happened to be there. And he said, "What are you doing? You should come to my office." And I said, "Unfortunately, you don't pay enough, so I'm not your office." So he said, "But you should not go and work in government. You should go out, I'll write a letter, go to USA. So actually he kind of pushed me to come here. He wrote a letter to Enselvichus. Amir and those people know he was a visiting lecturer at our office, at our school. And I got admission at St. Louis, Washington University. I came here in 71. But before that, for your information, Amir Wadi, he won the design competition for Science Center building in a campus. Is that still, Amir Wadi, you remember?
Yes, yes. Of course he remembers. We remember.
So anyway, I was supposed to take care of that, but then I came here and I finished the urban design here and just stayed here working for a couple of architecture firms. Right now, I'm retired. I used to do hospital, casinos, resorts. I was a director of a production in St. Louis. Right now, my interests have a little bit changed from architecture to poetry. So I write ghazals and I've published one book for me at least. So it's fun, can't complain. Just nice to be with the new generation. So we'll talk to you more later on.
We'd love to hear something from you today before we conclude this.
What's that?
Some ghazals.
Oh, Musaira, okay. Actually,
Yeah,
what's
the name of your book?
Yeah.
I did not recognize you because of your beard.
Yeah, I used to have black
so
beard.
many times. I'm so sorry, Hasmukhbhai. When you said then I said, oh my God, this is the same Hasmukh I used to know.
Yeah, yeah. You came to my home, I came to your home in Chicago too.
Yeah, several times, yeah. Sorry about that. Because of a beard, I could not. And look, nice, very nice. I mean, you've gone completely from you have to drive actually.
Hasmukh, you work in a school, architecture government department?
Yeah, I was in a planning, yeah.
Oh, okay, because I was in a 8th floor Bahumari building.
Oh, right, 9th floor, yeah, 8th floor, 9th floor.
Bhupendra Kamdar.
Bhupendra, hi Bhupendra, yeah, I didn't see you. Yeah. That was the first.
Yeah, now it's correct.
That was the first. That was the first high-rise building in Ahmedabad.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Good. So let's keep moving on to Timir.
Hello. Good to see you. See you all here. My name is Timir Shah. I studied at Faculty of Technology. I did. Building Science and Technology back in the day. 1995 batch. Currently living in West Palm Beach area, South Florida for last 13 years. Work in roads and bridge construction projects for state of Florida. Sharath and I went to the same class, same batch.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Timir. So Nirali, you're next to on my screen, right next to Timir. Can you mind introducing yourself?
Hey, I'm Nirali Patel. I'm at the 82 batch in architecture. I'm in Houston, and I currently work at the Johnson Space Center.
Could you, I couldn't hear you, say Transit Space Center or Space?
Yeah, Johnson Space Center. NASA.
Johnson Space Center, okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. And you said you're in Houston, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What's up, Bhatt? You're next.
Hello all. Thank you for being here. I did my SBST from 92 batch and urban planning 97. And then in between, I did PhD from CEPT as well, starting in 2007. I worked at Brookhaven National Laboratory and represented US Department of Energy and Department of State a lot for US, India, US, China, strategic and economic dialogue. I am also a hardcore energy modeler, so have been working in energy economics for
I think we lost
your sound.
We lost
Vatsal, you mute.
Vatsal has such a big resume that even internet gave up, man. I mean,
Yeah.
You are muted.
So-
Vatsal, you are muted.
Vatsal,
Still
you're
on mute.
Okay.
Let's go next.
I think what's we're going through a patch.
Somehow the harmonium has started playing.
Urmil Shah, who just chimed in.
Okay. It just sounded like you were super drunk. And
Yeah.
voice was coming across.
Social hour has not begun yet. brother.
Go to the
Maybe
next one, please.
For now.
He
And we'll
said
come
US China and US India relationships, so somebody's listening.
Okay. Well, so before this whole thing happened, I think I wanted to introduce my good friend from CEPT days that I haven't seen for many years. I think Samir, it's been what, 15, 16 years, easy? And you're muted, Samir.
Should be.
Oh, I want to turn the table to you. It was so good to see you, Samir. We were in the council together. We've had our own shares of arguments and fights over how to plan things and festivals and garbas and all of that. But it was a great
Yes.
years of knowing this guy.
Yeah, thank you for reminding. It was a great time. I'm Samir Kumar. I finished at CEPT in the year 2000. I started in 93. And soon after completion, I came to University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia for my master's. And since 2001, I have been in New York City working as an architect, and I'm still in New York City. I am on the Upper West Side. I'm married to another architect. She and I met at Penn, but she's not from CEPT. She's a New Yorker. I have mostly specialized within the profession. I am a facade specialist. I am a building enclosure specialist, and I am currently the director of enclosure design at Shop Architects in Manhattan. I'm actually right now calling in from our country house in upstate New York in the Catskills, where we spent the last 7-8 months in isolation, which was really nice. Now we are sort of going back and forth between New York and Roxbury. But the reason why I brought up Roxbury, Shad, is because less than 7 miles from here, or maybe 8 miles from here, recently, you remember Niti from SID Bench?
Yeah, Niti Parikh, the admin.
Yeah. So they bought a house right here.
Wow.
So now we have sort of a CEPT little bubble that we live in, where Niti is a part of it. And so those times of our council together sort of keep living on. It's really nice.
So great to hear.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Yes. So let's keep on going. So I think Hamir, you're next. Hamir Wadi, you're next.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. My name is Hamid Radu. I am from School of Architecture, Ahmedabad, the 62 batch. I graduated in 69, and last year, they awarded for me the Vikram Sarabhi Center building. I completed that in 71. Then it was phase 1 and phase 2. Came in 71 and worked for 1 year in Hartford. Then I did my master under Louis Kahn in 70 to 73. And then again worked for 1 year in Hartford. When I was with the Louis Kahn, I used to work in his office as a part-time. Came 76, I got married in Ahmedabad. Then came back and worked for a few small companies. Then I worked for one developer for 8 years. Then afterward, I developed another work called Belmead Corporation for 10 years. And then I worked for Port Authority for 13 years. Then I did on my own few years practice. But it is very difficult to practice unless you have a good connection here. And I'm not a wheeler dealer type of man. So practice works fine, for residential building, Then I did some commercial building. Then I did something for my temple. I did design the Franklin Township Temple in Somerset, New Jersey. And then I was trustee there also. Then I also did some work for International Jain Mission in CEPT Alumni, they call. I did that dining hall and a few cabins. And I'm retired almost 2010. And I am mostly geared to Jain religion, Jain philosophy. And I'm studying more and more in terms of everything. And doing meditation as well as yoga. So that's what I stand.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Urmil, you're next up, buddy. I like your
All right.
background.
Yeah. Hey, thanks.
Putting that up.
Yeah. CEPT, right? So, yeah. Hi, everyone. Urmil Shah. I'm SBST, Faculty of Technology, batch of 92. So I didn't finish it. In fourth year, the family, we all had to come to US for a green card. And I couldn't skip it. We couldn't research. I think I was one of the first ones from Faculty of Technology. I didn't have any knowledge what to do, where to go. So I had applied at Stanford and Texas A&M. So I got into Texas A&M, but I had to do my bachelor's there, just take senior level classes and all. But before I went there, I had to work in Houston. So I worked during daytime and nighttime, community college, the standard American stuff. So, but I've been in Dallas since 99. So Deepak Bhai, we will have to figure out, you are in Arlington, we will figure out a meeting. So I done from bridges to treatment plant to airports to last 15 years, I've been doing commercial construction. So anywhere from 10,000 square feet to million square feet projects here in Dallas. So been busy with
Great.
all that. Yeah.
You had a good problem to go that called you to US, right? Come pick up.
So I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks.
Excuse me,
Thanks for sharing.
Urmil Shah, where do you say you live?
I am in Plano, Deepak Bhai.
Plano.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
I live in Arlington, so
Yeah.
sort of quite nearby.
Sure. Yeah.
Of course, we cannot meet these days. But
I know. That's
okay.
why we'll meet like this.
You can write my phone number.
I will.
You have my number, right?
I'll connect with you offline.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So Shalin, can you go next, please?
Hi everyone, this is Shalin. I'm probably youngest of you all. I am School of Architecture 2011 batch, and I just came into US in 2018 to do my master's in science of architecture. I specialized in digital media and fabrication, and presently I'm working on a small multifamily residential kind of architecture firm. And I'm also independently researching about creating my own augmented reality platform. So, yeah.
Wow. Very interesting. We'll have to know more about what you're working on
Sure.
sometime.
Where do you live, Shalin?
I live in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bhupendra, you're next on my screen.
Okay. I'm Bhupendra Kamdar, batch of 1962 with Jayendra Bhatt and Hamid Wadi. And I finished my study in 68. And then I worked for AK Choksi and Mr. Pankar. And me and Hamid Wadi did the internship in Shivnath Prasad in Delhi. And when I came here, I got married in 72 and came back, came to USA together. And at that time, there was a recession time, so I changed it into engineering. So I work for Stone and Webster, who specialize in nuclear power plant design. And since then, that I worked for about 15 years for the Stone and Webster, and then started working for Westinghouse and a small engineering company in Pittsburgh. And I've been residing in Pittsburgh since last 1978, and retired in 2011. And right now I do some social work and religious, like I'm a treasurer at Jain Society of Pittsburgh, and we built one Swaminarayan temple, so I take care of the design and manage construction management and the general management. So that's about it, and I'm glad that I came in contact with you guys. So it's very nice to see everybody. I do once I'll go back to Ahmedabad, go visit school, and it is totally different than what we started with. We started with Commerce College, and then we were in the Gymkhana Hall. And the last year, when we were ready to get the graduation, we had a school, official school. So, but it was very enjoying, very nice. The atmosphere in the school, I still remember, and I miss that. So.
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you, Bhupender Bhai. So we've got Nimisha. You're up on my screen next, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Nimisha, and I am from 2003 batch School of Interior Design. I moved here in 2013 in Illinois, so I live in Illinois. And after working for like selling furniture for Illinois-based brand, I stopped doing that after a point, and then I moved into system analytics. So I work as a system analyst, and then I had to take break for maternity, having twin daughters. So I just started working again last year, but I'm still working as a system analyst, but my passion is still there for buildings and interior design. So definitely I'm looking for inspiration from all of you. So sometime soon, but I don't know when and how.
So Sharad, she is Animesh Shah's sister, real sister, younger
really?
sister.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, my brother is from 97 batch, and he is in Australia, and he was in SPST.
Yeah.
SPST 97 batch.
Yeah, we know Animesh really well.
Nobody knows Animesh. If nobody knows Animesh, then they should be out of this group.
I mean, from our times.
No, we don't know. Yeah, well, the our times. Yeah, you're right.
This is good. So, Dharm, you're actually next on my screen anyway, so why don't you?
Okay. Hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm Dharm Bhatt. I'm a 94 SBST, well, FT student or pass out, whatever it is. I came here for my master's in structures and did that, worked for an architectural planning firm for about 3-4 years. I've been, since then, we mainly did work for the schools and especially down south, South Jersey. And now I'm a facilities engineer for the Tom Seward School District. And luckily, the referendum passed last year for about like $160 million. So job security for another 5 years. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. When I moved to the U.S., I landed and went straight to Dharm's place in Jersey. So we go long back.
Yeah.
So I think we only have a couple of people left now, which I believe Nirali from Architecture 82 batch. We don't see you, and you can talk on the phone. Through your mic, but you're muted.
She did go. She works at.
Oh, she did?
She's in
Oh,
Houston.
sorry.
Yeah, I think we
and
covered
Space
it.
Center.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
My bad.
Alpa is left.
Alpa is the one. Okay, Alpa is next. Sorry.
Hello, everybody. I am Alpa Dave, and I am from 88 batch SPST, and yeah, School of Building Science and Technology. And I work in India, like back in 91. After I finished 3 years, and afterward I joined the like 2-year program. So I worked with the Surendra Patel, interior designer, and I work in Udyog Bhavan, all like interior projects. Hiren Gandhi, architect, and I moved here in Toronto, 2001, sorry. And after that, yeah, I'm working as an estimator since like 10 to 12 years. So I'm in Toronto, like Brampton.
Great.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, we have Canada this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks
We
for
have
making
here
it,
group
Alpa.
like Hammond and all, like they just connect everybody. So it's nice group from SBST and all, like architecture, CEPT.
Great. So I just see 2 more people logging in, Shashi and Girish Multani. I don't know, Girish, if you are on, maybe you can introduce yourself, a quick introduction. Or I see Shashi, we see you. If you don't mind introducing yourself, a quick 1-minute introduction about where you are and which batch in CEPT and what school did you go to, that would be great. I think we lost him.
Audio.
Yeah.
And they're on mute. Yeah.
They're on mute. Girish is also on mute. Okay, well.
Girish just called me. I told him to join us.
I see.
So
Okay.
he should be coming.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I see Girish's video popping. All right, Girish, can you hear us?
Oh, Girish is there.
Oh, you're muted. Girish bhai, you're on mute.
It's muted.
You're on mute. We cannot hear you. I think you have to turn on your mic, Girish bhai.
Put up a poster saying you're muted.
This has become the new.
That's the fastest way of telling someone.
That you are muted. Because he's muted, they can't hear us.
They should be able to hear though.
Hear us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'll shoot him a message, or maybe Neha could message. And we'll.
I will. He seemed to have logged in.
He was talking.
She's back.
1% is back.
So Sharad.
Oh, Girish is.
Sharad.
Yeah.
No, Shashi and Madhvi.
There's an echo. So Vatsali, was that you?
No, I think it's Girish probably.
I don't know.
Here's feedback.
Yeah, it is right because he's connected to.
Yeah.
I think he's connected on a laptop and a phone, which is why we have that loop.
So do you want to proceed, and then when they come back, we can ask them to introduce?
Correct.
So in the interest of time, so we're already an hour into this. So maybe what we do is we get into a little deeper introduction with a few folks, and some of the things that some of the folks that were not around in the campus at the time are interested in knowing, like, what the campus was like, in the spirit of, for example, Navaratri just started, right? So did you guys do Garba at that time? What was the scene? I know Jinraj bhai, you were probably somewhere in that council, and, so take us through some of that time, what was the scene like?
Oh, before you go, Girish is on. Hey, Girish.
Girish cannot hear you.
Unmute.
He reconnected.
We
I
can't
think.
read your lips.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
ahead. Okay.
Okay, tell us what you're doing.
Where are you?
He's
Oh,
still
I'm in St. Louis, but there are a lot of people.
Oh, boy, I've seen him after 50 years.
How many you can see, Girish?
Hi, Girish.
Girish, bole to khao pade.
Girish,
But
what America has done to you?
Maybe Bhupendra, you can tell him, or Amir.
Girish,
Girish.
ફોન આવેલો પણ હું તને ઓળખતો જ નથી.
Okay, I think we go ahead and
Yeah.
start discussion. So he will join in.
Girish is a Hasmukh's batchmate.
Yeah. No, Girish is with Hamir. Hamir and Bhupendra, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Bhupendra,
yes.
yeah, very સાથે હતા.
And
Yeah.
Shashi Patel also.
Yeah.
Shashikant
Yeah,
Patel bhi
we'll
here,
catch
yeah.
up with him.
Yes.
Everybody is so changed.
Yeah. I think.
Okay.
So, Sharad, why don't we start with the 62 batch, because seems like 62 batch has the highest representation.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That's correct.
Let's do it.
I'm really proud of you guys. I couldn't get any other 1.63 to come. So excellent. I think so. Either Bhupendra or Hamir, you can sort of talk us about the early sort of sapling of the CEPT.
Well, it started, in HL College of Commerce. We have only one class, and it started with the three big name: Doshi, Rasubhai, Bernard Cohn. Three people. They are the pioneer for the school, and we had about 30 or 32 people. I don't know, not about 20 or 30 people. Okay, and I was on the last number in a batch. But, we had a lot of good memory there. We had a biggest memory was kite flying project. Then from there we here is Multani. From there we moved to from HL College to that Gymkhana Hall.
Yeah.
Gymkhana Hall. There we worked for 3-4 years, and at the end of the 68, I think we moved, in a new office, a new building. That's about
The
it.
best part I remember incidents. HL's course we were first class, and the principal of HL Commerce was very strict, and our class, like School of Architecture class, was like they, rather than going through the door, they used to jump through the window, So one time, principal of the HL Commerce saw the kids jumping from the window going out, he right away, reprimanded those students, and I said, no, next year you are not going to be here. So that was our last year at the HL Commerce, and then we moved into the Gymkhana Hall, So that was really funny,
Wow. So from Gymkhana Hall, when did we actually establish the campus? When did we move to the campus? When did that happen?
68.
I think they started building in 67, I think, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
67, they started 60, yeah.
68 part of the batches moved in. Then eventually everyone moved
But
in.
we couldn't go to school because our final was a thesis where I was working with a CB star. So we normally didn't have any classes in the college, new college. And we just, Gymkhana was the last thing. And then I went to the Delhi for internship, and then the thesis, So thesis, we went to Roorkee and other places, but we didn't go to college for that.
In new building.
Yeah, new
So the
building.
new building was So I'm thinking Professor Doshi at the time, he was designing it and then it was in construction in 67,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
built in 68. So
Yeah.
68 was when
It was
officially
completed
the
in
campus
68.
was established.
Completed, the first building was completed in 1968.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the current School of Architecture building that we all know, we've seen.
Yeah, the main
Yeah,
one.
right,
the
yeah.
main one.
Wow.
But some batches moved in 67. The
They
first
used to
at
make,
62
they used to
never had
make,
any studio in the new building because they were about to graduate, the first batch.
they used to make bricks where there is a hill behind the school. There was a brick kiln, and Doshi made a hills out of it.
Oh, by Gulbhai Chegra?
No. Inside the campus.
No, on the site. On the
Oh,
site.
within the campus.
The north
The
lawn, the
pavement you
contours.
see,
Oh.
The north
pavement
lawn,
you
okay.
see, and the mound you see, that's where the bricks were made. The bricks were made and used in the building. And those bricks and area was very famous with Piraji Sagra. If you remember Piraji Sagra.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
We
the
used to go.
basement is called Piraji Sagra basement. There
Wow.
is a bench which is there permanently called Piraji Sagra bench. Anyone can go and sit on that bench and talk to Piraji, and you can spend hours talking to him. The only thing he needed was a cup of tea and a cigarette.
Yes, but actually we have done that a lot during our times as well. So we have spent a lot of time, especially during the summertime, when it is raining, we would be taking teas there, and then, we just spend hours and hours with him while he's painting sketches and portraits of people.
Yeah. Yeah, we all
That's amazing.
remember Piraji Sagra. Yes.
Kirit, you want to add anything?
I was just going to say that first 2 years, we look like a kind of refugees going from one place to the other place, and then the students from LD Arts, where I started 63, they hated us, so they wanted to get rid of us. Then when we went into this MG Science Gymkhana, and I had a couple of friends from high school, they went to MG Science, and they all kind of say, you guys are so crazy. They hated the Doshi. They kind of said, how did these guys get away with, we are waiting for all these things to build so that we can play our, I think badminton court was that. And then we occupied it. So we were always been kind of bad people all around. And then the last stroke was, if I remember correctly, is that the place where the school is, it was a, I think pharmacy college, Allen Pharmacy College is cricket ground.
Right.
So then that was the last thing that we took care, we kind of were, started from HL from one end, and we ended up getting to the pharmacy colleges. So everybody around, they always remember these are the kind of nuts, and somehow they hated the guts of Doshi. I think he said, how did you guys get away with all that stuff? And but I think that they kind of later on they liked it, because I think we were kind of created a kind of different kind of environment. So, but I agree with you with Bhupendra and other people that 67 was just, I think they were getting to finally build it. And I think Krishna, I think she did her training or practical training with Doshi, I think, and then they were all working over onto the design and construction of it. And so when I came back, we were all done with it. And I think by the time 68, I was sort of said there is nothing more to learn. So I don't think I attended any classes. I used to go down, talk with Sagra and have a tea and other stuff. But it was it was pretty, very kind of a temporary feeling that, and wasn't sure whether they will be able to give us whatever the certificate that we have done this study.
Yeah, right.
But it was fun. It was fun. I think they were, remember, I think They weren't sure whether they were going to give us a diploma or we're going to get anything with it and all that stuff. But it was fun. I think it was student body was fun, and it was all that stuff. I don't think we had a garba or any of this other activity.
But we used to go to Rabari Ward for garba, you know.
That's amazing.
I remember that Shashikant Patel and me and other, we went to Rabari Ward, you know, and then we were playing with a woman. And normally there no man plays that. So finally there was some people, they came with a lathi, you know, they're going to beat us.
I remember that. This is Shashikant Patel, Upendra Kamdar. I remember that very well.
You have the country of that, you know, I remember that.
I do want to actually, out of my own curiosity, I want to ask the women in the group, Avni, Ben, and Beena, what was it like to be a woman at the time, being a part of, school when you didn't see as many women in pursuing these degrees, like pursuing higher education and stuff. So what was it like, if you can share with your experience at the time?
Well, there are very few people in my class. Deepak, you close your ears, please. But I felt Deepak Mulji was in my class. But it felt like you were queen bee because I was the only girl in my class.
I would say that the trend changed from 1979 batch. We had like 11 girls, you know, like almost half of the class were girls, you know. And that time, the first time, they saw so many girls took admission in School of Architecture. So it was wonderful, you know, we didn't see, before 1978 batch, 2 girls, 1 girl, you know, prior to that. So it was a wonderful feeling, you know, like girls were taking over the field.
So did you feel like maybe Avni, when this is for you more, because if you were the only female, the only woman in the batch at the time, did you feel that you had to fit in this whole culture of guys around you and you're the only woman? I wonder what it was like.
Well, that's not how I remember it. Maybe it could have started like that because I came from Bombay to Ahmedabad. So there was a little bit of a culture change, even though, you know, our extended family was Gujarati and was from Ahmedabad. But such sweet boys. So I didn't feel, they were just wonderful. You didn't feel... They were just, it just fit so well. It was seamless. They never made you feel like you were a girl or anything like that.
I'd like to take back all this 60s batch to some of the characters during that period. You all remember Shafi?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody remembers Shafi.
At the badminton court, there were 4 batches, 62, 63, 64, 65. And those who used to live in hostel, they made the most of the CEPT campus. Okay, and Shafi was a character. He'll come at 1 o'clock in the night.
Oh yeah.
And with a small stick, the badminton court had grills in the front, and he'll start playing music. Now these were the characters during that time. And then was Pradeep Kharidia. Then we had Navneet Singh. He brought a cook from Delhi because the food in the hostel was not good. And he used to take a tent near the new hostel because he didn't like the hostel which Doshi had designed. So there were a number of characters during that period. And definitely all the batches would have had characters. I joined in 62 and I went straight from Africa. So if you see a picture somewhere in the poster, I'm the one with the hat, or I think I'm the one with the bow tie. There never was a garba or anything, and we were all called as if we are living in an ivory tower because we are so different. The girls at that time used to put flowers in the head.
Wow.
And they used to say these people are from a mad planet. And naturally, we all, if on our own sense, were very free to do. The first big event started in 69, 70. The whole idea was to encourage public to come and see what we are doing, because everyone called us met people. So we said, let's invite the public to come and see. And that is how the annual event started, which has taken a different turn now. It is not an event for general public to come and meet, but it is for general public to come and see the drawings and the models. That is the change now. See? But there was always this conflict between those from hostel and those who are Ahmedabadis. Then from the hostels were a cosmopolitan crowd, and Ahmedabadis were still very conservative. If a question of egg came, then was a problem. So those were the big scenarios during that time. We were fortunate enough in School of Architecture that time because of Doshi. We came across number of world famous personalities, and I think that changed attitude of all of us who went through that first 10 years, 12 years.
Oh, there's a car behind you. What are you doing?
And during that period,
you're confusing
many of
him
you may
so
not
much.
remember, there was a chief minister of
Drive in
Gujarat
the
who was
center, just
ousted,
relax.
and the students of School of Architecture played a leading role. There was a big procession on Sabarmati River, which was a dry river, and it all started because the price of oil had gone high and the food had become expensive in a hostel. And it was spearheaded by students from School of Architecture. Many of you may know or not know, but Akhtar Chauhan, second batch of School of Planning. And he played a really leading role in that time. I was there, but I was asked to keep on the back side. They said, you are not an Indian, you are British. If you catch you, then you'll be put in a prison straight away. But that time, I think School of Architecture and then the School of Planning, we were always in a forefront in whatever used to happen in Ahmedabad. The first strike in school happened because there was no water in the hostel. So we all went with a toothbrush and a towel to school and said, okay, teach us. And the first death also took place in School of Architecture. A student called Antonio. He died of leukemia.
Yeah,
There was also another death by accident.
Antonio Figueroa from Goa.
Yeah. There was another death by accident. We had all gone on a picnic.
Drowning.
Person drowned.
Yeah.
So we went through all those phases. But Doshi always used to come and talk to us about how to move forward when things like this happen. There is still a scholarship in the name of Antonio. His father was a big tycoon in Goa. Yeah, it's there. Now, during my time, School of Architecture got recognized by RIBA, Royal Institute of British Architects. Unfortunately, it is no more there because I think the faculty had to prepare a lot of documents for visitations, and I think no one took any interest. Now, if I tell to any architect who's coming out recently that, look, if that recognition would have been valid, you would have had no problem getting a job in UK. So the number of things that happened. I have been visiting School of Architecture almost every 2 years. I still go there and take a lot of interest in that. There's one there are two very interesting incidents which happened with me. Visiting faculty is very notorious of visiting studio or not. And as you come up the steps in School of Architecture building, the blank wall, we had a pin board named Nutcracker. And one day Mickey Desai went and put a complaint about the faculty. So Doshi called me and said, this faculty will resign. So I told him, no problem, we'll go and hire another faculty. Now that was the freedom we had during that time. And then when I was there, no, if a peon sees me, he will run away. Because I used to make sure all the studios were absolutely kept clean. But they still used to remember me. Now, you may not know, but CEPT compound had a rose garden. He's not here, Shashi Nayak. He's in California. He's landscape. CEPT, at that time, Doshi had created gardens, herb garden, rose garden, all these things, where the new building is coming up now in that, which used to be, people used to go and smoke cigarette there at the corner. Now, during that time, there was no fence, nothing to the compound. And those of us who used to live in hostel, we can walk in the night and we knew exactly where to put a step. And I think Kirit and I don't know, means we were the only crazy guy who would cycle 4 o'clock in the night to railway station to drink tea. So we all had our interesting moment during that period. But I can see they may recognize differently now, but Amir, Shashikant, Kamdar, I think I had met him 2-3 years back. Kirit, I've been meeting a lot of the time. Hasmukh, I've seen him after a long time. And I can still remember their faces when I was there. Now, what I have done that to Neha, I've given her templates, the pictures we had submitted during when we took admission. I don't know whether you put on the website or not, but you're able to see, and I suggested to her it'd be good to get pictures of everyone who's in America and put it on the website, how they looked when they joined the institute and how they are now. And it brings back when you see them, then you bring back the memory. Oh, this is Hasmukh. This is how he used to look there. Hasmukh was very thin. I remember him still coming on.
I remember that.
Hey, Suresh, you used to have a hair at the top of your head.
I used to have a hair.
Same thing with me. Hasmukh, same thing with me. I had lots of hair.
Do you know what was my nickname?
Hey, what about me? I'm Sashi. Look at my hair.
Hey, talking about the girls and ladies, it started with that. We used to have 4 or 5 girls in the classroom. The specialty that those days were every girl got married with the classmate.
Yeah, but it started from School of Architecture. I mean,
yeah, every girl.
Shama and Geeta from first batch, then Krishna and Jayashri. Batch after that.
Geeta didn't get married.
Geeta, a batch after that, and my batch, Kalpana, and then a batch after that is I don't remember now, but
Neeru Gandhi, yeah, Neeru Gandhi got married to Ajay Gandhi.
Vatsal dead.
The one thing
was 0162. He
I
was
don't know.
one of the set when it started, so he's 0162.
The girl in our class, 64 batch, was one Mona and Amita. Amita got married with Raj.
Anita married Rajay.
There was a 22-year age difference, 22 years.
So I do want to continue this. I think we should hear also from the 70s batch. I think Habib, you guys have been patiently listening, and I do want to hear from you folks. You know, can you tell us about the culture that sort of transformed from the 60s to the 70s, mid 70s, and Avni and Veena, please jump in and tell us about some of the transformation that they started in the 60s and how things changed in the 70s.
So by 70s, so if I go first, the 70s, we had already seen the school was well established. So thanks for the people from the 60s batch. They did such a great job and the teachers were there. So when we started, actually, just to name a few faculty members, along with Doshi, there was KB Jain, Rajay was there, Piraji Sagra was there, Panu Bhatt was there, and what I vividly remember is the math teacher, Desai, you probably all remember him. Ajit Desai continued to teach much longer after that.
Professor
All those teachers were there. So there was a good transformation. When we came in, they already had established, at least what I remember, entrance tests. So you had to go through like a 2 or 3 day long entrance test, and then your names would be pinned on the board. And then I was one of the lucky ones to get selected. So that's how we started the school in those days. And some of the names that comes up from 60s, Muktira Chauhan, I saw his name. He was still around. I'm trying to remember the photographer. What was his name? My memory is getting. Was still around from 60s. So there were 2 or 3 people from 60s. They were still hanging around. So they must have been around for 10, 12 years. They were just
Dinesh Mehta.
Dinesh Mehta hung around for a very long time. You
Kanu Sindroza. Kanu Sindroza.
And
Kanu Sindroza.
Kanu Sindroza. So those were the people.
These are the masters who are spending about 10 years on the campus doing
more than 10. More than 10.
Trendsetters, I guess.
And they continue to hang around for a very long time. And the nostalgia is that, excuse me, my phone is ringing. So nostalgia is that we used to, we used to sit around the canteen, eat from that one plate, or we have bread and butter in the morning, bread with butter and tea. And then you hear stories of these people from the 60s. So there was a good transformation.
So since you said this, Habib Bhai, I'm going to pause everybody for 1 quick minute. We have a quick poll that actually is about the favorite food. So Neha, can you launch the poll?
So, sure. So I will launch a poll, and it's about what is your favorite food back in the day. So hold on. So I think it should pop up on your screen.
It'll pop up on your screen. All you have to do is just pick your...
And it's a multiple choice question, so you can also pick more than one.
All of them are the favorites.
Yeah, yeah, you can select all two.
Now, Neha, where is Maska Bun from Ruturaj? That was later on, but still.
That was not Suresh Bhai canteen, man. Come on.
Sorry.
It was
Harry was the name of the canteen.
Harry. So Harry's son is Harry Bhai had 3 sons, and Suresh Bhai was the one who was running it for him when Harry grew old.
And canteen was started by one of the...
Harry was a funny guy.
Joshi had sort of encouraged him to start the canteen. And they all came from one particular area in Rajasthan, Dungarpur. Now, in only last 15 years, the things have changed. Otherwise, they all used to be from that particular area. And that hut eventually became the printing area.
Right, yeah.
Right. And then next to that hut was a brick sitting area which was made. Hasmukh will remember, we had to do it at one night.
Yeah.
And then there was another circle as soon as you come down the steps from the Faculty of Architecture. And that the building which was taken down was the first site office of School of Architecture. And I was very angry when they took it down, because the wall, the front wall, at least they would have kept the front wall, which carried the history. The murals used to change every year or every 6 months.
Right, yeah, right, yeah.
That gave some identity to each and every batch, because they used to come and do their own mural. And I said, look, you are in a building, you're teaching building here in this institute. You could have easily lifted that whole wall and put on one side of the chalk. They don't call it chalk, they call it square or plaza. And I was questioning, why are you calling it plaza? Why can't you call it chalk? Okay. So when I see a change in this type of outlook, I really get, I won't say annoyed, but I get upset to some extent.
Oh, you're slowing down so much.
I just want to add, there was a wind tunnel there in that building.
Yes. Yeah,
next to it, which was
converted into a
out of shop.
That could convert into a workshop.
He and Sibisha built a wind tunnel
I
to
was
take
moved
the
to the
model
workshop.
of building to study the wind studies. That was his thesis. And it is also destroyed. And the whole history is gone, I mean, in many ways. So I just want to add one more thing from my 60 side of it. In the beginning, when there was only 150 students and the faculties were in their 30s, there was a lot of rapport. We were like a family. We could talk to each other informally. All these senior people were helping us, junior. And the faculty and everybody is sitting on a chai and eating and drinking together. There was no fear. There is no harm about this is a visiting professor or this is a professor. Everybody were friends. And that's what I found in 66 when I joined. All these senior people were helping us. Am I right or not, please?
Yeah.
Definitely, when the numbers small, you become more intimate, and the numbers become bigger, the intimacy goes away. But within the faculty, the 5 faculties, they're still not that big faculties on their own. They're still small. The only issue here is that these are the faculties where some joint projects could be done. Of course, the students meet because of the garba and all that thing. You know, they were joint council and all those things. They have joint tournaments of football and cricket and all those things. It is there, but the faculty does not meet. That is one of the biggest problems there. The different faculties from different time, they don't meet with each other faculties. I don't know why.
So going back to the 70s,
Yeah, going back to the 70s.
Very
Please,
much.
thank you.
Yeah, going back to 70s, the most favorite my time at the school was working late at night. And I'm sure you all done that. And back in those days, the stereo system were very new, actually, the 2-speaker system, and we still used to use turntables. So we would set up a complete stereo system in the studio, and we were working all night preparing the drawings for the submission, right? And then we would be playing Bob Dylan, Jethro Tull, Doors. So that's my favorite memory of the time. That it was just so much fun, and like they said, like the 60s. And we were driving scooters at that time. We were not anymore on cycles, so we would take scooters and go drink tea at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then go home at 6 in the morning. You know, so it was a reverse of everybody else. We were working all night, and then we're sleeping in the daytime. Actually.
So
can I say something about working all night?
Yeah.
This is Sashi Patel. Can I say something?
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, let me give you an example of what we used to do. When I say we, I'm talking about the first batch working at night. Shafi Hakim, everybody knows Shafi. We used to go out of the studio in the middle of the night, walking around the campus. At that time, there was no campus, but from the arts college. And when we see somebody park a car, we will all go up to the car very quietly, surround the car, and then put a flashlight to see what's going on. Anybody remember those days? There were love couples in the car, and we used to have a lot of fun. Those were the days when Shafi used to bring his father's automatic car. There was one of those Lincolns. We'll all jump in the car and go and steal all the bulbs from the campus, because those were bulbs hanging. People will climb on top of Shafi's car and unscrew the bulb. And in the studio, we'll have about 15, 16 bulbs. At that time, I was in the hostel. I don't know if you all remember Sachidanand. Anybody remember Sachidanand?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
Sachidanand was my
right?
room. He was my room partner, and he committed suicide. Remember, that was the very first suicide I ever saw from School of Architecture.
Oh no.
Those are the days I remember. And I remember Doshi giving me his car and said, take Mrs. So-and-so and show her Ahmedabad. And I told him, I don't have license. He said, don't worry about it. We own Ahmedabad. So those were the days. Those were the happy days.
Marilyn Monroe died, we took the day off,
Shashi, which you belong to?
That's funny.
First batch.
I think first batch.
Okay.
First batch,
When did out of curiosity, when did the culture of it welcoming new batch ragging start? When did that start?
See,
I think
there never was a event where the CEPT welcomed the new batch. It started in 2013, 2014 by Faculty of Architecture Alumni.
No.
I'm talking about CEPT
No,
as a management
no.
that individual faculty had, not CEPT as an institute. Individual faculty, Faculty of Design, Faculty of Technology had it, but not Faculty of Architecture. And neither was Faculty of Management, which turned into Faculty of
Okay, I think Jinraj Bhai might have expertise on.
It's not true.
It was done by individual faculty, but not by CEPT as a management establishment.
No,
No, I think I'm talking about something different.
Different, yeah.
What, do you know what I'm talking about students?
Yeah, the students begging started in 60s, but that was an informal event. It was not subscribed by the institution.
Sure.
As such, it was an introductory night. I remember when Rashmi Parekh from Bombay joined, there was a big event. Juneja was there and everybody. When Rashmi Parekh said, "I am Rashmi from Bombay," and everybody said, "So what?" She could answer that was in 70s. I remember, but that was a private, informal event. It was not an institutionalized event.
I think it never was, right? It never was.
It never was an institutional thing. I think it was just a culture that got built into welcome.
What started was
Actually, breaking was more prevalent for the people.
Because of the cosmopolitan intake, all those who came from outside Ahmedabad, they brought in this culture of, in other words, sort of a meeting together and rigging, okay, which was not liked by Ahmedabad crowd. And I remember in 2071, the new hostel, the whole bunch of hostelers from the other hostel burst into M block and had a beating. I took the beating, I still remember it. So we believe that there should be some form of a rigging, but it started individually in a hostel, individual that time. Then it continued to different batches. Faculty of Technology was the first one after that. Then came Faculty of Design, if I'm not wrong. Then the other faculties joining. But there was no official welcome event of the new intake by the management, like you have in America. The university will have a event, okay, thing like that. It never had. It started, but it was stopped.
Look at the colors here.
Why don't we go back to the 70 batch? Let them talk. I think we 60s are taking
Yeah,
over.
I think but you haven't shared much. Maybe. If
Okay. I mean, I was listening to Habib. Habib was my senior. Deepak Mulji was my senior. I didn't interact much with Habib, although I loved his drawings. I saw his final jury, and he had some very, very nice sectional drawings. And I said, maybe I can do some drawings like that someday. I was known myself for lots of good sketches and drawings. My seniors used to come and ask me to draw human figures for them and stuff like that. But Deepak Mulji and I had a common friend, Kunal Mathur, who now practices in Delhi. And Kunal's dad worked with Corbusier, Bhanu Prasad Mathur. He's no longer alive, but it's a small world. I met an architect in San Francisco who remembered Bhanu Prasad Mathur when I interviewed with him. And he said, "Do you know Bhanu?" And I said, "No, I don't know him, but I know his son." And so, Deepak and I used to help Kunal late at night doing Kunal ran an office while he was doing his working drawing studio at his fiance's home. And so myself and Mulji, do you remember Deepak? We used to help Kunal with his working drawings late at night at Meeta Kumar's home. And then we would come back. I would come back to my hostel. And my batch, when we joined 1977, we were assigned, those of us who lived in the hostels, we were assigned the H block. So we were no longer in the hostels that were designed by Doshi. Those were good, but we were not, those were taken over by MG Science. We were ragged over there by, and it was indecent ragging. So we were ragged over there by a bunch of senior guys who were not on in the group here. But if you remember Gurpreet Singh, yeah, Gurpreet Singh was the leader of the ragging group. So and then I recall at the time when we joined, the campus was rather small, 150 people, as they said. We had an entrance exam, and I actually took the exam twice. I went in 1976. I topped the entrance exam, but I was rejected because I didn't have an HSC, clearance certificate. So I had to go back and do 1 year of preliminary pre-university science in Ahmedabad. That way I saved 1 year, and I came back the next year. And I remember KB Jain telling me in the interview, "Tum bahut zid karte ho, le lenge tumko." And so I got in in 1977. That campus was rather small. Somebody was talking about the workshop building, and that workshop building was our kind of a landmark. It had a blue painted wall and some figures painted on it. I can't recall now, but it had brick. Bond with openings in between. There were two very skilled carpenters in there that used to help us with our woodwork. And it was right in front of the ramp, the main ramp where we used to sometimes gather, and then on the steps. Yeah, that campus was very, at the time, I found it a beautiful thing because I came from Bombay. Bombay was, it's just a concrete jungle. And I had not seen something like that before. So that influenced me a lot. The North Lights, the whole building, the organization, the order. Unfortunately, our batch was way behind in terms of meeting the stalwarts like Louis Kahn, Corbusier, some of the early batches, they had the rub off on them. But we didn't even get Doshi for any of our studios. We got him for some lectures. And Anant Raje taught us urban design, some classes, but mostly it was KB Jain, Leo Pereira, many good people, very many good people who taught us. I remember mimicking R.J. Shah. If some of you guys remember Rasiklal Jentilal Shah, he used to, of course, there was at one time he came over saying, I know that, you do not know. He has that, thing going on. And then C.D. Shah, I was a cartoonist. I was a cartoonist, and I used to, the Nutcracker, we put a little cartoon of lots of different people. KB Jain looking at the school with his hands behind his back, which was normal, his usual posture. And he was, and then we drew some dogs on the campus, and he was saying the school's going to the dogs. It came out of something that had happened in studio. And then we drew students with umbrellas sitting in front of, in the front row of C.B. Shah's class because he was famous for.
Yes.
So we were kind of a batch that took a lot of liberties with professors. And I know my classmates, there are none of them here, but they were very funny guys like Khushu Kalyanwala, who he's in Delhi right now. And our batch was the first one to be, of which 5 people, including myself, was selected based on merit to visit the ETH in Zurich. That was the first batch which went there on a batch basis. So 5 people. And then that started a trend later on. Sharad Zaveri was over there. Sharad Zaveri was from the earlier batches. And
yeah,
he was
in
settled in
7.
Zurich.
Sharad was our batch, yeah.
Yes.
Sharad Javeri, there are 2 Sharad Javeri, no?
Right.
One was in our batch.
No,
Yeah,
there
but
is only one Sharad Zaveri. The second one is Sharad Sheth.
Sharad Sheth.
Javeri was with us.
Sharad Sheth was actually our professor. He had taught us in first year design studio. He taught us, and He was there. He used to wear a goatee at the time. Ravi Hazra, Gurudev Singh, a lot of names that I remember now.
Sure.
Very good people who taught us. And I know Kanu Sindroza, one of your earlier batches, he used to come there, and he caught me one day in the studio, and he said, well, I'm going to talk to you about your design work when I was in third year. And I struck a friendship with him, actually. He used to come every day and talk to me. Besides my professors, he would come and talk to me about all the plans that I was doing. So we saw that sort of a community and interactive relationship between each one. We were only School of Architecture and School of Planning, and there were only 30 students in each batch. So we pretty much knew each other. We very joked with each other. We ate in the mess. Everybody knew, what everyone was doing. The professors were also common. So it was a very small, well-knit community at the time. And somebody mentioned there were no girls at the time, but my class had 7 girls. And many of them were Patels. So I always used to end up in group projects with a bunch of ladies, and I was the only one who was male doing the project with them. So yeah, we had 7 girls, and then there was a 78 batch which had some girls too. So ladies used to, there were plenty of ladies after that. I left in 1983 after graduating. We went to Nepal on a tour, and we went to lots of places. Hasmukhbhai Bhatt used to take us to Mandu and Udaipur and several. I used to love sketching. I remember NASA, the National Architecture Schools Association. We hosted the NASA in 1979 at CEPT. And I remember they asked me for some of my sketches of Mount Abu and some paintings and some sectional drawings I had done for an exhibition. I guess Rajay picked them out from some pile of drawings that he was presented with. So yeah, I remember very, very fun times at the school and in Zurich too. We had to climb up a drain pipe in order to get back into our youth hostel because they had locked us out after 9 o'clock, and we were roaming around in Geneva watching the sights. So my friends were reluctant, but I said, hey, this is the only way up. And the Americans, there were 2 Americans on top. They said, if you climb up that pipe, we'll give you a hand. So we got back in that way.
Stay in your lane, Neha Shibajuma. To stay here, he's right here next to him.
So yeah, we really thoroughly enjoyed our
side.
stay on campus those 5 years. I have lots of memories, but I mean, it would be a long talk. So I'm going to cut it short here.
Thank you. This is great. It seems like you guys were some sort of culture trend setters too at the time.
Sort of, yeah.
What sort of progressed over the years? It sounds like a lot of things, started from the 60s, then developed even more in the 70s. I get some inside info that Jinraj Bhai, you started the jam sessions. Is that true?
Yeah, in 1969, I studied electronic music at National Institute of Design.
In 1969, you studied electronic music? Wow.
Yes, and that's what appeared on BBC.
Oh, I see.
And about 17 media all over the world, including a Japanese language. Everywhere it's there. I will put it to Neha on this to share the
Sure,
link.
that'll be great.
So now I'm called, forget about people recognize me as an architect, but they actually recognize me as a composer.
So you composed electronic music for the jam sessions at the time?
No, I composed, that's an independent event. That's an independent event, but that taught me about a lot of sound engineering. So when Suresh is still here, when he was a president or Vikram Bhatt, either of the student council, I created our scaled wall in the old building. There is a beam which has a scale. If you remember, there's a middle, there is a window that overlooks the garden. Okay, so I created a white wall with bed sheets. And there was a film called Dr. No. James Bond. And its title, designed by Ken Adam, had people dancing with shadow in color. So it intrigued me how the hell Ken Adam must have done it. So I figured out that if I put a white curtains on that wall, the whole, it looked like 70 mm, you know, that scale screen, of everything white from top to bottom. Then I found stroboscopic light and put gelatin paper on each of the stroboscopic light. And then we had a student called Errol Ruben in Suresh, which batch it was?
65.
65 batch.
Oh my God.
He had a band of his own called Electrons. And Jugal Kishore, Didi, Pradeep Kharidia were great singers. And there was another guy in the first year who was junior to us called Naval Damania. He was a great guitarist and a singer. So all these live people sang while people danced. And when they danced, all these lights created a colorful shadow at the backdrop on the white screen. So I was able to recreate that James Bond's title design through a jam session.
Wow.
And that was a fantastic experience. And the music westerns, who mentioned about Jathrotal and all those groups. So we had a huge Western fan and Western singing groups. Jugal Kishore Didi, Naval Damania. Shafi was also a very active participant in the Shafi Hakim. So it was very lively atmosphere at the time.
I do want to
just tell you about the Garba.
2 years.
I do want to pause you 1 minute because I think we haven't heard a lot from Avni and Beena when, you know, two of you as women at that time. What was your participation like when in these jam sessions, in these sort of cultures and Garba or whatever, right? I mean, tell us more from your perspective as things were happening on the campus. I think Beena, you were sharing at the time and then it didn't, you were not able to finish.
I'll let Beena go first.
No, Avni, you go first.
Well, I think I was a bit of a nerd, so I don't remember too much about, I used to like classical music, so I used to go to the National Institute of Design where they'd have classes on music, etc. Or there were a group of people like Chaya, Nilkan Chaya, etc., who would play music and invite us. It would be like a chamber music setting in his home. Gautam Balsekar, people like that.
Sohan Nilkant.
It was...
one person you can't miss is Khadpekar.
Yeah, Khadpekar, yes. Khadpekar was also very fond of classical music.
Right. So I was more involved in those things, but I did want to say one thing about the hostel when people were talking about, there was a guy called Jal who used to collect snakes.
Jal
and he used to try and frighten the girls by bringing these little boa constrictors, and you'd be reading and he'd just lay it down right in front of you. Very, very luckily, the first time he did that, he had sort of created a little spiral and he put the snake while I was sitting and reading, and the snake didn't move at all because he'd sort of wound it up. And it gave you time to realize and catch your breath. And you knew that if you did anything, they would not leave you after that. So you just had to pretend that, oh, this is very interesting. And yeah, so that was, so that's how I see
who really
but I don't remember the dance.
Semi-classical was Ashok Purohit.
Yes.
Ashok Purohit, many of you may know it. Ashok Purohit is a big man in Ahmedabad as far as buildings concerned. Okay, he can do any design. He's not worried. He's only interested in getting building up. But he was the one who really encouraged having classical, semi-classical, and in the
campus
faculty. And it used to happen almost every 2 months. We used to spread all the Gadya and all those things in the studio, and all these things used to happen. But during our time, there used to be an annual event, which was sort of a norm among colleges in Ahmedabad, and I think in many cities, where we used to perform for our parents.
Oh,
We'll have a ras or we have a drama and so many things happening. If you remember, the first basement near the canteen has got a round quota stone circle. That used to be the stage.
Okay.
And so that changed eventually. I think then colleges did not started doing it, then the whole environment in Ahmedabad changed, and then this annual event sort of fizzled out, and I don't know what took place because I was not there during that time. But the annual events was a good time for the families to come and meet at that time. And it was interesting that what used to happen is happening in a different form now. Okay.
Well, let's let our ladies speak a
Yeah,
little.
I want to go back to Beena. I think Ms. Beena, could you wanted to share something also, right? And if you're done, Avni, I don't know.
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, you were talking about jam session, and I have a very vivid memory of that. It was like a festival kind of thing. Whenever there is a jam session, people from different places come, NID and everything, and it was such a big crowd, and people used to have so much fun, and it was a good memory for me. And I also remember we used to have bhavai. Sometime, people, young artists, they come and do bhavai in the basement, and it also brought lots of crowd. So, and we have other events also. So, means people used to come, not only our students from School of Architecture but from other surrounding colleges and NID. So it was a good time.
And what about let's say Janmashtami, for example? Did you guys have the Thandai and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
all of
we
that?
used to. I was just going to say we used to have bhang and thandai during that Janmashtami and Holi, and then once I remember a memory, it rained a lot. So there was this pond on the side. Remember where I think they're putting up a new building now? They would fill up with water, and we used to go and take jump in the used to use it as a swimming pool actually to go and bath in that pond. So all those things, and then the other thing I'm trying to remember is the visiting faculty, not visiting visit famous people would come to school, right, to speak. So we talk about. So Buckminster Fuller came at one time when I was there, and he spoke at the school, and he really inspired us. So I ended up building a dome, a geodesic dome, as part of that, and a fairly big actually, it was 24 geodesic dome. And the way we built that dome, and Satsangi was the professor at that time, if you remember Satsangi. So he took us to the cloth market, and we got those dandas that they used to roll cloth on it. So we brought hundreds of those dandas for free from all those cloth merchants. And then we in the shop, in the workshop, put a little steel plate on it with two screws on both ends. And then we put holes into the steel plate, and then we connected them. So the only thing we had to do was to draw the geometry to make them precise length, and then connect them properly so it came out as a dome. It was a very simple process to do it. So those are the kind of memories I have.
And in 79, we built, in 1979, we built that big tent. The whole school got together.
For the NASA.
And because it was a tensile structure, we didn't have jacks to pull the tensile, the members that were going to keep it in place. So we had these pylons and stakes and everything, but there were like 20 people on each side, mostly male, trying to pull those things together and pull that tent up. And that tent was then used for, it stayed there for like 20 days or so. It was used throughout the NASA convention. So we did that, and my batch also built the parking lots that you might see still there in the back for the parking of scooters and bicycles.
I'm in the car.
We actually shoveled concrete.
My wife is
we
driving.
did slump tests and all those things.
I know.
And I remember Lavingya saying, "You're not going to make that thing happen." And then finally we paved it, and everything went fine. So. Those are things that I remember. Some of those things still remain. Some have been removed because by new construction. When I went to the CEPT campus back in 2016, that was the last time I visited, because I visited Bimal Patel, who was with us. He was 1 year junior, but we used to meet in Zurich and lots of other places. He was in Berkeley too, in California, where I am right now. I'm in Santa Clara. But I remember talking to Bimal, and when I first got there to the school, I didn't recognize the place, because the Maidan on the side of that school, there used to be a big Maidan, a cricket field. We used to play cricket there and soccer sometimes. That's gone. The rickshaw stopped, and I was half asleep. My daughter was with me. I had taken her to see the campus. And when he stopped, I said, "Where are we?" And he said, "This is CEPT. This is where you want to be." So I got off, and then there was a sign-up sheet outside. There are guards out there. And I said, "Man, this place has changed so much. We never used to have that. We used to just bike through and come down kacha steps and all that stuff." So it has changed a lot. And then there's that new building inside and so much more crowding.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
it has changed a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Ayub.
Sure.
I do want to give a time check, because we are 2 hours into our I know I want to respect everybody's time. I don't want to, we can continue. We were going to stop the recording, but if few people want to stay back and continue to chat, I'm happy to be here, but I just want to be respectful of everybody's time. So,
hey guys, I will leave. My boss just called me. I have some work to do.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
Boss as in wife, or boss as in real boss?
There's only one boss.
Boss from Harvard.
There's only one boss.
No.
Can we have a list of all the participants?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we will have. Yes.
Get a group together.
All right. Even I will be leaving. It's nice seeing you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. It was really a
Thank you,
pleasure
Vatsal. And
hearing it.
yeah, put the list
Good
on the
night,
WhatsApp.
America.
So
It's nice to see you, Shashi and Bhupendra.
yeah,
It was good.
Yeah.
I could not
Nice.
recognize you if I see you in the.
how can you recognize?
Well, I think now I can recognize both of you.
Yeah, well,
But
that
both of you
shows maturity.
good. Nice to
Hey,
see you.
Hasmukh, we should get Girish Multani next time.
Yeah, I will call him.
He cannot.
Okay, guys.
Hasmukh will keep in touch.
Yeah.
Hasmukh will keep in touch.
Qayyum from Washington.
Bye bye everybody. Bye
All
bye.
right. Well, thanks
Bye-bye.
again, everybody.
Bye.
Great to see you.
Thank everybody. Bye
I
now.
want to listen to your ghazal before you go.
Oh, that's right.
Please.
That's
okay.
right, Hasmukhbhai.
Also, I would like to know the book name of the book. He published.
This is for, it's not on the market, it's for me.
Okay.
This is my book.
Oh,
Oh, very good.
very
Nice.
good.
Shu, એનું નામ શું છે?
શું છે?
So I write in Gujarati, used to write in English a little bit, but it was not comfortable for me. And my wife, she's American, and she said it doesn't go too well. So I started writing Gujarati then. I said, I stay with Gujarati. So anyway, I won't read the whole thing, just a couple of things, okay?
Good.
જ્યાં નજર, એટલે એનું કવિતા ગઝલનું નામ જ જ્યાં છે. જ્યાં તને શોધ્યા કરું ત્યાં તમે મળતા નથી. જ્યાં તને શોધ્યા કરું ત્યાં તમે મળતા નથી. મને માર્ગ તો મળતા રહ્યા, મુકામ બસ મળતા નથી.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
જ્યાં હોશ કઈ હોતો નથી, જ્યાં હોશ કઈ હોતો નથી ત્યાં હોશ પણ હોતો નથી.
Towards Washington.
હિંમત વિના
79 on this side. I side.
હિંમત વિના દિલમાં કદી
Keep
હમદમ
going.
કોઈ
He's on the
મળતા
side.
નથી.
You keep going.
હમદમ કોઈ મળતા નથી. સપનું તારું જોતા જોતા જોબન મારું ચાલી ગયું. સપનું તારું જોતા જોતા જોબન મારું ચાલી ગયું. રાહ પછી જોતા જોતા જીવન આખું ચાલી ગયું.
Very
Very
nice.
good.
Very nice.
Anyway, આવું બધું છે. એટલે I don't take it.
Nice.
Be away
That's
to
a
your
good,
publication.
good way to conclude the event.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you.
આર્કિટેક્ચર મારી હોબી છે. આવું બધું આમાં ધ્યાનમાં અને હું તબલા પણ વગાડું. સ્કૂલમાં વગાડતો હતો. આપણે ટેલેન્ટ ટીવીમાં મેં તબલા વગાડેલા.
I remember that.
હસમુખ તને સેપમાંથી જે પણ આર્કિટેક્ટ નીકળ્યા છે ને એ લોકોની આર્કિટેક્ચર હોબી જ છે.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Joe.
કારણ કે એ તો બ્યુટી છે સેપની કે
But
તમે
anyway.
જે કરવું એ કરી શકો છો.
Yeah.
Yep.
But actually, this opened up the whole, my ટૂંકી વાત છે આમાં કે મને સિલેક્ટ નહોતો કર્યો. 3 દિવસના ઇન્ટરવ્યુ લીધેલામાં મારો 30મા નંબરમાં 2 જણાને ઇન્ટરવ્યુ લેવાના હતા. એમાં એક સુરતવાળો હેમંત કરીને આવી ગયો. હેમંત મેંગો દેસાઈ.
Oh, mango. Oh, mango. Yeah. I
તો
know mango.
એને લઈ લીધો મારા બદલે. પછી મેં કીધું મારે તો આ સ્કૂલમાં જ આવવું છે, શું કરું? તો ઓફિસમાં જઈએ પેલા બેનને પૂછ્યું, મેં કીધું કંઈક કરો ને હવે, આપણે એક લઈ લો ને એક વધારાને. મને એમજીમાં એડમિશન મળી ગયેલું. મને ઘરમાંથી કહેતા હતા તું ડાક્ટર થા ને આર્કિટેક્ટ નથી થવું. પણ મને પેલું સ્કૂલમાં જોયું ને બધા મોડલ ને બધું, તો મને બહુ ઇમ્પ્રેસ થઈ ગયો. અને પછી મેં કીધું આપણે આર્કિટેક્ટ જ થવું છે. એટલે પછી પેલા બેન મને કહે કે દર વર્ષે, અને ધીટ ઇઝ ફેક્ટ, કે દર વર્ષે 2 અઠવાડિયામાં એક વિદ્યાર્થી છોડી દે.
Drop out.
કારણ કે બધું હાર્ડ વર્ક ને બધું હોય ને. એટલે મને કે તમે આવો. Oh, I don't know if I'm talking Gujarati.
અરે બધા ગુજરાતી છે.
Everyone is Gujarati.
Okay. એટલે so then she said you can join here for 2 weeks. If somebody leaves, you are admitted. Oh my God, that's a good scope. So I was going to school in the morning, architecture school, in the evening, so that I don't go behind, attend the MG school right there next to it. I was doing 2. For 2 weeks, nobody left. So I said, tough luck. It's so bad. Next Monday, decide કર્યું કે મેં હવે આ છોડી દો. એક વખત તો હું કોલેજમાં ગયો, મેમજીમાં તો પીરિયડ પૂરો થવાનો હતો, ત્યાં ગયો ને મને કે કેમ ભાઈ તમે તમારા બાપાનો બગીચો છે, આ મોડા કેમ આવ્યા તમે? એટલે મારી ઇજ્જત ગઈ હતી. પછી મેં કીધું આ છોડી દો આર્કિટેક્ચર, જ્યાં એમજીમાં જતા રહ્યો. તો પછી બીજે દિવસે ગયો ને, ફર્સ્ટ ગુડ ન્યૂઝ મને એમણે કીધું, oh you are lucky, one girl left yesterday. જ્યોતિ ભટ્ટ કરીને એક બેન હતા, લડકી, તો તે જતી રહી પછી. અને it happened that after 25 years મારો જે અહીંયા ફ્રેન્ડ હતો એની બેન જ હતી, જ્યોતિ ભટ્ટ.
ઘણો આભાર તમારો જ્યોતિબેન.
Anyway, we are fortunate that you got into architecture. Can we meet you?
એટલે anyway,
stay in this lane. Like exit outside. Just relax and stay in this lane.
One little thing તો એક બીજું આપણે એમજી સાયન્સ નું પેલા જીમ હોલમાં હતા ને આપણે, ત્યાં ગાડી એક આપણે એક જાપાનીઝ વિઝિટિંગ પ્રોફેસર આવે છે.
Junju, એનું નામ છે Junju Shirai. Junju Shirai.
એની પાસે બગ, એની પાસે ગાડી હતી બગ, વોક્સવેગન બીટલ.
Volkswagen bug, yeah.
No, wrong. એની પાસે ગાડી હતી small Subaru. Because I traveled with him. To Jaipur.
નાની ગાડી હતી ને એક.
Yeah, Junju and his wife came from Japan.
Yeah, Japan.
They were good friends of mine. I still have photographs of them.
તો એક વખત ત્યાં એને ગાડી પાર્ક કરેલી ને, તો એને અમે સરપ્રાઈઝ આવ્યું, 4 જણા ભેગા હતા ને ઉચકીને પાછળ મૂકી દીધી. પછી આવીને બધા શોધ્યા કરે કે ક્યાં ગઈ મારી ગાડી, ક્યાં ગઈ. Anyway, used to have fun.
પણ mango અમેરિકામાં છે. You people should try to get him mango.
આ મેંગો મને હમણાં ફોન કર્યો, હમણાં ચાલતો હતો. મેં કીધું આ તું આને જોઈન થાને, મેં કીધું એટલે હું એને મોકલીશ પાછું. મેંગો ને વાત કરીશ.
મેંગો રિયલ નામ કે મેંગો પાડેલો નામ છે?
હેમંત એનું નામ, હેમંત દેસાઈ.
Many of us had a nickname when we were there. Now, I don't know how many you will be able to guess what was my nickname.
Kalakar.
Anyway,
Jinraj may know, maybe.
I think I have heard that. Somebody mentioned that before, but I think Vatsal was saying or something. Vatsal knows probably.
No, Vatsal may not know. Kirit may not know.
What? About
Kirit Desai Dadi might know.
I was called.
Oh yeah, Kirit Dadi.
Yeah, Kirit Dadi Chicago ma che.
Yeah, I tell you interesting story. I was at Carnegie Mellon, and I was graduating, and my my department head came and he says, I mean, it was like sort of March. I mean, was just few months before we were graduating, and he gets said, Kirit, what's the matter with you? You did not really study enough that you wanted to come back and do the program all over again. But that was Kirit H. Desai.
Yeah.
We used to call him Kirit Dadi.
Dadi,
It
yeah.
was to distinguish. So.
Franco Harris.
And I talked to him. He's in Chicago, and I told him to kind of join.
Okay.
And
You're talking about Carnegie Mellon. Kirit Desai came there when I was there in 1963. Oh, no, sorry, in 73.
Yeah, right.
And Kirit was saying, Sashi, let's join this group. I go, which group? There was a table there set up by the gay guys. So Kirit says, let's join them. I go, you want to join these guys? And when I told him what this group was, he said, no, આપણે એમાં join નથી થવું.
અમેરિકાના RSS વાળા લોકો એ.
That is Kirit Desai at CMU.
So Shashi, when you were there, Albert Highland was there?
Yes. And John Packran. John Packran was the dean, architecture dean.
Yeah.
That was the year I was there. Yeah.
George Anselmiskis also came to our college.
Yeah. He came and I took him around, and I also saw him at the university in St. Louis. And he wanted me to join St. Louis, but I told him I already enrolled at CMU, so I did not go to St. Louis. But Tushar Nagar was there at that time. You remember Tushar?
Tushar એના પહેલા એક ગીતા આવેલી અહીંયા.
ગીતા પહેલા આવી હતી, right?
એના પછી
સૌથી પહેલા ગીતા આવી હતી.
પછી કૃષ્ણા આવેલો,
પ્રદીપ ખરીદિયા આવેલો.
પ્રદીપ ખરીદિયા તો બોસ્ટનમાં રહેતો હતો. બોસ્ટનમાં રહેતો હતો.
Boston.
ઘણા લોકો આવેલા છે. અત્યારે હું સેન્ટ લુઈસમાં છું હજી.
With Karidia as a topic can take us for whole month. Okay.
So since we have all these great participation going on, we have one more poll that for everybody that Neha will launch real quick on your screen.
All right.
So he has not even told us what was the answer to the last poll.
Lot of people, that will be tomorrow. She will send us.
So, all right. So the second poll is about, what kind of events we would like to have in the future, like, canteen talk, nostalgia, and there are other options in there. And again, this is a multiple choice, so you can select more than one. Can you all see the poll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Multiple choice, multiple jawab.
I think all of them
should have put the numbers.
So just to remind everybody, so next month, November 22nd, we have the second canteen talk. And that will be, as I said, November 22nd. So that'll be the next session.
Yeah.
All are welcome. You know, I think this is, didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to share. So just know that there's another event coming up next month.
Good.
Right.
So I think someone talked about Girishbhai Multani who joined earlier, but dropped off in between. He said he would love to join every event now onwards.
Okay. You have to reach out to him, Vatsal, and tell him how to mute, unmute.
We'll do that.
Yeah, yeah. I
We'll
think
do that.
he's in Florida somewhere.
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Florida, right?
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, right.
Fort Lauderdale. Okay.
Emir can just drive and do that event with him.
Yeah.
Oh, is he in? Oh, actually, I remember somebody registering from this area. I did not realize that it was him.
Yeah.
I will reach out to him.
Yeah, I don't think he practiced architecture. He kind of
he's a motor
hotelier.
owner.
Yeah.
Hotelier, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a fun guy. He kind of has what I remember, he doesn't go travel because he has put on a lot of weight. So, and I think I tried to kind of contact him and talk to him, but never really kind of connected. By the way, Sheikh, Kamar Sheikh is here, and Hamir kind of gave me his number. I'm trying to kind of reach him. So his son lives in New Jersey. So, yeah, that was
Jayashri should be there with him.
Hmm?
Jayashri should be with him then.
Of course.
I don't know. But that was the things they were talking about, that some of the people found their spouse at the school. So he was one of them.
Yeah, right.
She was Jayashri
and Sheikh.
Sheikh, right? Yeah.
But that's true for our batch too, Kirit bhai.
Is that right? Of course,
It
the whole
is.
tradition we started it. So
Was the first
even though I wasn't
a love marriage which took place in the campus.
Who was that?
Jayashri and Kamal Sheikh.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, correct.
The marriage took place in the campus?
It all started in campus. In fact, everything started in campus after that, okay?
So we're going to stop the recording just after.
Sure.
कुछ कसु भी बोलू है तो बोला से.
I don't think I don't think there is any secret.
Bhupender, when I saw him last, I think 3-4
Achha, Neha, give us a thumbs up when the
Yeah, all
recording
right.
is
So I'm stopping the recording. This was a great event, and hope to see more people next time, next event.
Yeah, I'll call a couple of people, and Bharti Patel and Kiri Desai, and I will call him to see if he can join us.
Yeah.
Perfect.